Hey Olivia.
Hey, Livy.
Okay, so just to introduce myself to you guys, hi, I'm Libby Lyle. I'm going into my third year at King's in Classics and Contemporary Studies, and I am King's Creative Ambassador Summer Student this year.
And hi, my name is Olivia, and I am going into my third year as well. I am majoring in political science, and I'm the campus tour guide.
So we are just here on FaceTime with each other to share our different stories about how we got vaccinated and hopefully provide some clarity on the vaccination front from a King's student perspective. So I just want to preface this by saying King's is one of the only schools that I have heard of that is not enforcing vaccinations on its students, but instead recognizing that many of them have legitimate reasons for not being vaccinated, and I am so proud that our school recognizes and acknowledges this. So King's is trusting that we as individuals will make the right choice for whatever is best for ourselves, and knowing that this trust and freedom will strengthen our community. But Olivia and I were both able and willing to get vaccinated, and so this FaceTime call is just kind of for us to talk to you guys about our experiences and maybe provide some clarity on King's stance on vaccinations and Nova Scotia's stance on vaccinations. So Olivia was able to get both of her vaccine doses in Halifax as an out-of-province student, and my story moves from Halifax to Northern Ontario, and now I'm in Portland, Maine, where I just got my last shot this morning.
Yay!
Yay! So
So exciting.
hopefully our stories together will be relatable to students from all over. And yeah, Olivia, do you want to start and tell us your experience?
Yeah, for sure. So, as Livy said, I am an out-of-province student. I'm originally from Toronto, but I've been living in Halifax since, well, technically since the beginning of first year, and I actually haven't been home to Ontario in almost a year now because of COVID travel restrictions. So I received both doses of the vaccine here in Nova Scotia. And because I don't have a Nova Scotia health card, the process was a little bit more involved in booking a vaccine, but it was still very straightforward. And basically, the only difference was people who have Nova Scotia health card, they are able to book it online, but I had to call a toll-free number. So the first time around, it took maybe 5 calls of waiting on hold to be able to book my vaccine. And that was actually a really great sign. It's pretty encouraging to know how busy they were, how in demand the vaccines were, which was
Totally.
what made it a bit tricky. But I just kept reassuring myself that I was going to be able to connect with them and book my vaccine. And indeed, that did eventually happen. I was able to book my vaccine for, I believe, a date that was 3 weeks after I originally called. So I called at the end of May when I became eligible, and my vaccine was initially scheduled for June 18th. But then I found out about this life hack from my cousin who also lives in Halifax and goes to Dal, so shout out to him. He told me that once you are in the system after you've called and made your vaccine appointment, you're actually able to reschedule your vaccine date to either an earlier or later time or cancel it. And I rescheduled mine a couple of times, and then one day I was checking and I was able to schedule an appointment for the next day. I checked June 1st and I rescheduled my appointment for June 2nd. So it was 3 weeks earlier than it was supposed to be. And it was a very kind of short window of time between my first and second doses, and even shorter of a process to get my second dose. When I became eligible for the second dose, I believe that was July 5th, and I was able to schedule my appointment for July 14th, but again, I rescheduled it using this hack, and I got mine July 8th. So it was a very, very fast turnaround, only 3 days between booking my second dose and receiving it. And now I'm fully vaccinated, and I'm so elated to have had both of the doses and to have this really organized and effective system of vaccination that we have in Nova Scotia.
Totally, very awesome. So like I said, my story kind of starts in the same place and then moves all around. I began in Halifax, and I also hadn't been home in quite a while because of travel restrictions. And so I did the same thing, called the toll-free number, called a few times, and then I finally booked my appointment for June 21st. But while I was waiting for my appointment to roll around, I was able to go home and visit my family. So I took that opportunity because I hadn't seen them in a while, and I called the Ontario vaccination office, and I was put on the wait list. And I was really lucky. The day I was driving back home from the airport, I actually got a call from the office, and they were like, "We have vaccines for you right now." So before I even got home, yeah, I went to go get my vaccine, my first dose.
That's awesome.
That was, yeah, on June 12th. Yeah. And so then I was in Ontario, and the way it works in Ontario is that after you get your first dose, they contact you for your second dose. So I'd been waiting for confirmation or a date for my second dose when the opportunity actually came for me to travel to Portland, Maine in the States, which is where I am now. But before I did, I was like, oh no, what does this mean about my vaccine? I've already jumped through so many hoops and moved from provinces, so what do I do? So my dad and I called the offices in Ontario and in Nova Scotia, and basically they said if I could get my vaccine in a different country, that is great, and I should do that, and all I need to do when I get back to Halifax is show them any sort of proof that I have. So in Ontario, here I'll show you the proof that they give you. They have an online database, and they'll email you confirmation, but then also with your Ontario health card, you can log on. There's a link on the email that they give you, and you will get a receipt like this, saying the date and everything that you got your vaccine. So all I have to do is show the my healthcare providers in Halifax that. And then this morning when I got my vaccine, they provided me with this little card here, and it will also be valid when I go back to Halifax, just to show them that, and I will be on record as having my 2 vaccines. Yeah, so anyways, I hope this answers some of your questions or anxieties about the vaccine, what King's stance on the vaccine is, what the Nova Scotia process is like, or what you need to do if you're an out of province or someone coming from a different country. Feel free, please, to reach out to me or Olivia if you have any questions at all about the vaccines or just student life in general. That's about it. That's all I have for you guys. I'm really, really excited that I now have my 2 vaccines, and I am part of the solution to getting back to normal life, being in physical proximity with my friends again, and hopefully some of you guys on the King's Quad next year when we'll actually get to meet finally.
Yeah, I can't wait. I totally second everything that Livy said. So happy to be part of the way forward after this long, dark period that has been so hard and taxing on everyone's mental and physical health. It is so nice to have this beacon of hope that is the vaccines. Keep in mind your community and the vulnerable members. We need to protect them and to strive for a better tomorrow. So very looking forward to being there with all of you.
Totally. Okay, well, see you guys all in 2 months, I guess.
Yeah, have a great summer.
Later, Olivia.
Bye. Bye, Livy.